Hey, what's up everybody? This is Marcus from the Weekly Spot, back again with another video, and today I'm going to be doing a book review of The Enemy, the 8th book of the Jack Reacher series written by Lee Child. The story takes place on New Year's Day 1990 after the dismantle of the Berlin Wall. A major military policeman, Jack Reacher, was assigned to investigate the death of a general and the missing briefcase that he had, and while Reacher is trying to control the situation, eventually he, with the help from Lieutenant Summer, they go over to the dead general's house to talk to his wife, but when they got over there they discovered that she was murdered, and after that more people are getting killed off, and as Reacher digs deeper into this case, he uncovers a dangerous conspiracy within the army that puts him in the crosshairs, and just when things couldn't get any worse for him, he has some things going on in his personal life as well. So one of the things that I've noticed about the Jack Reacher books, or at least the ones that I've read so far, is while there are some similarities, they are at the same time unique in the way. Like for example, in Bad Luck and Trouble, it features Reacher working alongside his former military unit. In Persuader, we see Reacher going undercover, and Tripwire stands out for its exploration of Reacher's past and his emotional vulnerability. Now, what's unique about this book is that this is a prequel, and chronologically the first book set during the time when Jack Reacher was in the army as a military policeman. The story I thought was good. I like that this book we get into the life of a little more younger Reacher in his military days, and giving us some insight into the military and that environment. And this book has got a lot going on with the multiple plot lines involving murder, conspiracy, corruption, and a family crisis. Like, it's a pretty complex multi-layered plot that seems like it's all over the place, but it all connects in the end. Now, in some of the books that I've read, Reacher would gain some allies for his investigations, and in this one it's Lieutenant Summer, who also becomes like a love interest, and I thought she was a cool character. She actually kind of reminded me of Neely because she's intelligent, determined, and a competent MP. And with this being a prequel, there are some characters you would probably be familiar with if you didn't read this series in order, because most of these books are more self-contained. They're more standalones, like General Garber, who was first introduced in the second book, Die Trying, which by the way I thought was cool that this book showed us a little more of Reacher's mentor and father figure. Also, just seeing more of that relationship. And this book, I would say, is pretty solid when it comes to the pacing. Like, in some parts it's slow, but it does pick back up. And when it comes to the action, this book does have some action, but it's not as action packed as the other ones. This book I thought had a pretty suspenseful mystery. I mean, there were some parts that I feel like were predictable, which I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing as long as the story is still interesting and engaging, which this is. And besides, there were some parts, there were some twists and turns that I did not see coming. And when it comes to the villain, well, really villains, because the central antagonist is not a single person, but instead the core threat involves corrupt high-ranking military officers covering up their crimes to protect their reputations and the hidden secrets. So Reacher, who at this point is more idealistic, he still believes in the service, is now forced to fight people within his own ranks. And in the midst of this investigation, Reacher finds out that his mother is sick, so he goes to Paris to visit her along with his brother Joe. And I gotta say that as much as I enjoyed the mystery, my favorite thing about this book really is the subplot with Reacher's family, as we get an appearance from Reacher's brother Joe, and we got to see more of that relationship, and also their mother. And I like that in this book we get a little more into Reacher's character and his background, and as the book goes on, like, you get a better understanding of why Reacher is the way that he is. Overall, I enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the mystery. I enjoyed the story. I like that we got a little more into Reacher's background. Now, I was already gonna check out the other prequel books, but after reading this, it definitely got me more interested into reading them. But anyways, I would give The Enemy a 5 out of 5. Now that is it for this video and my review of The Enemy, and let me know what you think. This is Marcus from the Weekly Spot. More content will be coming now soon, but until then, take care everyone.